So, the first 2 weeks we looked at step 1. I'm powerless over, fill in the blank. And trying to have power over, fill in the blank, makes my life unmanageable. And then last week we moved into tradition 1. Our common welfare should come first. Personal recovery depends on unity. And today is the second part of that. If you're following along, the pages for last week and this week are over there, the worksheets. If you haven't gotten any, there's 2 complete sets over there, so you're welcome to those. So the challenge with our common welfare, who's deciding? Right? Who decides? Who decides what's common? Who decides what's our welfare? Who decides? And the deeper I go into this question, the more clear I become that we have unintentionally slipped into a duality of good and bad, right and wrong. We say we believe it's all God, but then we carve out things based on how we feel that must be something other than God because we want rid of it. Unless, of course, there's some part of God we want rid of. There might be, and if there is, are we willing to admit that? That, yep, it's all God, and this part of God I don't want. And in the truth of one, how does one extricate oneself from itself? It begs the question. So how do we bridge this gap of ancient understanding that is a tremendous misunderstanding? Right? Because it's an ancient understanding that there's good and bad. That if it feels good, we want more of it. And if it feels bad, we don't want it at all. What if your feeling is an inaccurate barometer? What if we have been lied to for centuries? That how we determine what's good or bad is based on our feelings. Right? The exact same sensation in your physical body, the same feeling, terror, and excitement. Right? Something happens that scares you. Depending on the context, you like it or dislike it. If you're sitting at home by yourself and all of a sudden you hear a noise that doesn't make sense, that startles you into fear, right? You have a fear response. At the same time, if you go to an amusement park and get on a ride that scares the crap out of you, guess what? You have exactly the same biological process and you call it fun. Yeah, it's like, uh-oh. One we like, one we don't. It's exactly the same sensation. The only thing that's different is what we're telling ourselves about it. We say it's all God, then we carve out people that aren't it. We say it's all God, and then we carve out behaviors that aren't it. Which is it? Now, I'm not saying this is easy. I've tried to talk myself out of this talk. Because, see, I can't say it to you without hearing it. I cannot live a practice and a commitment to oneness and have any except. I can't. One of those is a lie. Doesn't make it easy. Are we willing to understand that the common welfare is honoring every expression of the divine? Every expression. Because creation happened. Creation just is. Nothing new is being created. Creation is simply expressing differently. See, that's the thing that I think we miss about one. We keep thinking there's something new that got created. If it's true, what we believe, that there is one power, one source, one substance that already is infinite possibility, there's nothing new to create. There's simply different ways for creation to express. Right? It's just different expressions of the one thing. And however it expresses doesn't change it. And that's where we come back to, oh, there can't be a good and bad. There just is one thing. And I think it behooves us to get to a new level of honesty with ourselves, right? That says, yes, I believe it's all one, and I don't like this expression of it. That's not denying it. That's not making it wrong. That's owning, I don't like it.
Yes.
Right? I don't like it. Yes. It doesn't mean I'm separate from it. It means I don't like it. And I invite you to consider that that ownership now empowers you to do something about it. As long as you separate yourself, you disempower yourself. Because now it's somebody else's problem. Whose, I'm not sure, in one. I had a conversation with somebody the other day. It may be one of the most painful conversations I have ever had with somebody in Science of Mind. And they initiated the conversation about what's happening in our social climate, in our political climate. And then they said this: I live in a progressive state. None of it really impacts me. Nothing he's doing really impacts me. So I'm just going to carry on about my life like it doesn't matter, because it doesn't matter to me. Ouch. Ouch. And that's exactly what I said to this person. Ouch. I wish I had that privilege in this human realm. I don't. And I'm curious how it is you have come to the conclusion that you have that privilege when you profess to believe in oneness. When you have been a follower of Science of Mind for over 30 years, how did you arrive at a point of separation where this doesn't impact you? And they hung up on me. Which, honestly, I celebrated. Because it was an indicator that they heard me. Now, I appreciate that they hung up, because I'm pretty sure they didn't have an answer. How do we arrive at that point of separation where something that is happening to the whole doesn't involve me? How do I arrive at a level of dishonesty that what happens to a person with black skin doesn't matter to me, doesn't impact me? I'm powerless to change it because I'm melanin deprived. That's a lie. There's only one of us here. Everything that's happening is yours. Everything. The person that's hungry is you. The person that's wealthy is you. Everybody in between is you.
Yeah.
And when we wake up to that, and when we dare to embrace that, then we have a chance to embody it. And when we embody it, now we're empowered to shift it. We don't have to create something new. We have to align with what is. And I cannot align with what is as long as I am judging it as good and bad, as right and wrong. Now that does not mean you have carte blanche to go run over people with your car, and when the police stop you say, well, the minister said there's no right and wrong. Right? And I say that because I have heard ridiculous comments to people in response to that. Oh, so I can just go kill people and it's okay? No! There is behavior that is hurtful to other people in form. It's not carte blanche. We're talking about spiritual work here. We're talking about at the deepest level of knowing this morning. The common welfare, one body, has to come first. Because as Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King said, injustice anywhere is injustice everywhere. As long as there's one person sick, I'm not well. As long as one person is hungry, I'm hungry. And as long as we push those things away, how are we going to change them? There's no... Imagine if creation said, I'm going to give to this group, but not to this group. Which group are you in? Do you know? Because the group that ain't that creation's not going to give to, you're gone. Because life is giving life to life. And if it stops giving, whoop, there ain't no life. Doesn't matter how it's expressing, there ain't none. That's what we do mentally when we separate. What we're saying is this expression of God is not worth it. But I am. Are you really willing to live in that level of arrogance? Are you really willing to cut off a part of you? If you are, I invite you to stand naked in front of a mirror and pick which part you want to cut off. Because it's the same thing. That's just the micro level of the macro. This is a body, a singular body of creation. And we are busy wielding machetes at each other, amputating parts of the body, pretending like it doesn't matter. And it does. Now the good news is, you can't kill me spiritually. You can't. You can't kill an eternal being. So, yeah. You know, I understand the moment, this moment, just now, what just flashed into my head was Jesus on the cross. Forgive them, Father, for they know not what they do. You can't kill me. You can end my physical life, but you can't kill me. Because I am a divine expression of an eternal being. The expression of me is eternal. The physical of me is temporal. It's supposed to be. And that brings us to a whole conversation of how it is we're ever going to arrive at healing when we make sickness bad. See, we're still in some level of separation. I don't know how we arrive at a sense and experience of wholeness while simultaneously rejecting any part of our experience. Because to do so says that creation made a mistake. What if it didn't? What if all the chaos that we're experiencing is exactly what we're intended to experience because it's exactly what we're creating to experience? There's that. But notice how we're doing it, but man, who do I blame? Who do I blame? Well, it gets really easy when there's only one. Right? Are we willing to put the common welfare first? Now, I will wrap up with this. Because in 12-step recovery, our common welfare should come first. Personal recovery depends on program unity. It's a little easier because what that's actually referring to is the singleness of purpose of that organization. For AA, it's not drinking. For NA, it's not using drugs. For CODA, it's dealing with humanity. I have so much respect for people with that go to Codependence Anonymous because they're dealing with all of it. All of it. For Al-Anon, bless their hearts, they're dealing with the alcoholics and alcohol and their powerlessness over all of that. What, as metaphysicians, is our singleness of purpose? That's the question I think we have to answer. What is our singleness of purpose? And are we establishing our singleness of purpose from condition to spirituality? Or are we starting at spirituality? Because I don't think we can arrive at a spiritual singleness of purpose going from condition to spirit. Because condition is limited. Right? But we keep trying to do that. Spiritually, pretty sure the singleness of purpose is to reveal God. Just to reveal God, to reveal what is already present. Not to invent it, not to go find it, not to add it to you, to reveal it. Right? This is the cover. The minute I open up, it reveals what's inside. This is my cover. What's inside that I won't reveal? What's inside that I blame you for limiting? Because I won't reveal it. Because I've operated from the lie that that's too vulnerable. You can't kill me. You can't hurt me. I am the infinite expressing in form. Now, that may sound arrogant as all get out. It's still true. And that does not mean I don't have feelings in the human realm. I do. The difference is, have what you feel, be honest about what you feel, and stop making it bad. When someone asks you, how are you? I'm amazing. I'm whole, perfect, and complete. And my heart is breaking. I'm whole, perfect, and complete. And I'm feeling sadness that I don't know how to feel. Stop making it an either or. When you feel sad and someone says, how are you? I've been better. Really? You've been better than perfect? When? You've been better than God expressing how? I have felt better. Be impeccable with your word. Stop telling yourself lies. You're amazing, and you have feelings. And some of them you like, and some of them you don't. So what? Own it. Because the minute you own it, you can shift it. Spiritual mind treatment empowers you to shift. You're not inventing things to think about and feel. You're just aligning. My heart is breaking. And love's got this. I don't see it at this moment. But the core of me knows love has this. That no matter what all this is, I refuse to believe in wrongness. I refuse to believe in separation. I feel this, and life is expressing life. I will wrap up with this, and many of you have heard this. It's a real simple analogy in this physical body. Having had a third-degree burn, I can speak to this with authority. When you have a third-degree burn, it's excruciating for a split second, and then it doesn't hurt at all. At all. Big hole in the palm of my hand, and I'm looking at it, and I'm like, why doesn't that hurt? It didn't hurt because the nerves were burned off. There was nothing there to hurt. It had just burned off. The process of healing a burn is daily debridement of what doesn't belong there. Starting off, doesn't hurt. Go in, they debride it. It's like magical. It's like, how is it they're scraping around in there and it doesn't hurt? Because the nerves are dead. And I submit that many of us are walking around with dead nerves. As we debride our belief system, the nerves come to life. Once you get to a certain level, it becomes excruciating. Pain that I couldn't even wrap my head. I fell 18 feet off a roof, crushed both wrists, split open my head. That felt good compared to debriding that wound once the nerves regenerated. That felt good. Right? Are we willing to continue to debride our consciousness? Are we willing to go through the pain of debriding every lie that is operating in our heads and in our hearts that separate us from one another, that are keeping us infected? Because the only way that heals is all of that stuff has to be removed so new growth can happen. So that what belongs there can grow back. My hand is all good now. There's one tiny little spot. If you're really close, you can see from that third-degree burn. And that scar reminds me of the preciousness of pain. Are we willing to go through the pain of healing, or are we just busy trying to avoid it, thinking it's going to fix something that it ain't? Let's take this into prayer. I recognize that life, God, creation, whatever it is breathing itself as me, is breathing itself as all of creation. That creation simply is, and it is expressing itself in glorious, precious, magnificent multiplicity. And that no individualized expression changes what it is. It is changeless, nameless, limitless. And all life is that. And so I claim and affirm that each individualized expression of life is waking up to its magnificence, is waking up to the glory of alignment of the divine self with the human self. That every expression of life is so alive that everything unlike that is being debrided. That the holiness, the preciousness, the amazingness, the isness that I don't even have words for is coming into expression as humanity, as this earth, as the cosmos, as the climate, as everything that is being expressed in form and unformed. That the harmonious operation of one is revealing itself. And so I am grateful. And it is in this gratitude, this belief that it's already done, that I let go. I let go of all the ideas that tell me I, the individual separate I, has to do anything rather than be something. So I let go, and I let my being inform my doing. And I simply love. And I invite you, if you're willing to join the journey, consciously, intentionally, purposely, to join me as we say together, and so it is. Let's take a breath.